If you're planning a wedding, picking the right invitations and how you word those invites is so important. Then there's addressing the envelopes. It is a process. Joining us now to help is Michael Nolte, author of Wonder-Filled Weddings and owner of Nolte's Bridal. Michael, we are talking wedding invitation protocol.
Absolutely.
The thing that's mind-blowing is you say there are 17 decisions when choosing the stationery?
Absolutely. Do you want a single card? Do you want a fold over? Do you want white paper, ivory paper? Do you want black ink, a colored ink? Do you want one font all the way through? How's it going to be worded? Do you want an inner envelope? And if you have an inner envelope, do you want to have a liner inside of it? And then it goes on and on and on. Do you want to use your full name on the thank you notes, or perhaps a monogram?
And you wonder why people flip out when they're planning a wedding.
It's very difficult to try to figure that out and do it online.
Okay, once you figure out the stationery, what you're picking, there is a specific protocol when you're addressing the envelopes, the titles of people and such.
Absolutely.
What do you do, for example, if one of the people you're inviting is a doctor or a judge or a political office holder?
Well, if it's a judge, it would be the Honorable and Mrs.
What if the woman's the judge?
Then it would say Mr. and the Honorable.
So the Mr. goes first, but the Honorable still stays?
Absolutely, yes. And if you have two physicians in the house, the husband and wife are both physicians, it's addressed to the doctors Smith.
What if the wife is a doctor and the dad is not? I mean, the wife's a doctor and the husband's not.
Typically there, a lady would subordinate her professional title for her social title, and it would be still Mr. and Mrs. John Smith.
So the woman doesn't get to keep the doctor title?
Typically not for social purposes.
Oh, okay. There are women right now
who are maybe having a fizz fit. My wife could be one of those.
Because she a doctor, an RN?
She's an RN.
Okay.
But, so she doesn't have a title there, but she's very much an independent thinking woman.
Yeah.
Another.
But you're just going back to old times. So if you want to be old timey.
I go it by National Bridal Service and Emily Post, and those really are the guidelines. Yeah. I always say to brides, they never regret having done it right.
Yeah.
And that is right. Another misnomer is the title of MS used on wedding invitations, and that's only used for corporate correspondence.
Ms.?
Ms. So if a lady is not married, she's still addressed on social correspondence as Miss Abigail Smith, and if she is a widow, she would go by her late husband's name, Mrs. John Smith.
We also want to talk about enclosure cards.
Yes.
You brought a whole packet of what
goes in an envelope.
A traditional wedding invitation would look like.
Right. There's lots of pieces with it. So this would be the outer envelope, oftentimes with a beautiful liner.
And then let's hold it up for chance
there we
so
go.
you can see it.
Beautiful liner, beautiful ceremony invitation here. And then a reception card is always a separate card. The reason behind that is because this is an invitation to a sacred ceremony, this is an invitation to a party. Beyond those two pieces then, we always have the reply card. And the reply card used to be considered very socially gauche because it was an indication that you did not know how to write a formal reply correctly. Now it's almost inconsiderate to not put a reply card in. The important thing is you want people to reply and use this, so make it very user-friendly. Of course, the word favor is always spelled the Old English way, F-A-V-O-U-R, just like honor is on the wedding invitation. Now we just say names, and then we want them to tell us accept or regret, and most importantly, the number to attend the reception.
Question for you, because this happens all the time, common dilemma.
I know what this question's going to be.
It's about the children. If you're having a wedding and the children are not invited, then you get the reply card and it says, 5 people will attend. What do you do?
No, it's like, you invited 2, and the reply comes back and says 5, and you go, honey, they're bringing the kids.
Yeah.
Well, then somebody needs to make that phone call. Because if some boy is going to be upset about that outcome, it should not be the bride and groom or the hosts of the wedding.
Who makes the call if they don't have a Michael Nolte planning their wedding?
In my case, that is a part of the services that I offer, is I do make those phone calls, which are difficult. But it's usually better done by somebody who is not a relative to that individual.
Maybe the maid of honor?
And oftentimes it can be an email. It needs to be really quick. And here's what I do to help soften that blow, is that I call the folks and I say, gosh, we're so thrilled you're able to come to the wedding. I'm the wedding planner for so-and-so's wedding. We have plenty of room in the church. Love to have everybody there. But we do have a limited number of seats that we have at the reception. So could you tell me, of those 5 people that are perhaps attending the ceremony, which 2 should we have place cards for at the reception?
Oh, that's good.
And then they go, oh, I guess the kids were not invited. I go,
that's good.
That's right. Look at your invitation. If children are invited, their names would be on the inner envelope, such as this. This is an invitation that actually came to my wife and I. And then
so it's just addressed to you and your wife.
Right, on the outside. The heads of the household are on the outer envelope. And then the children's names, always in birth order. You never use the phrase "and family," are on the inner envelope.
So that's how you know with
if your kids are invited,
that the kids are invited. Michael Nolte, owner, business owner, wedding planner, author. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here all the time.
It's
and
a lot of decisions.
New store we're opening June the 1st.
Congratulations.
So, a plug in there that all of Nolte's bridal inventory is now 75% off. I got to throw that in before I get off the air.
Hey, that's a deal.
It is a deal. Come see me.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.